Okay. So.
Is that a good angle?
I'm doing number. Yeah. I'm gonna do number 9 and 11, and then we can leave the rest. The rest you guys can do on your homework sheet, so you won't have to do 11 through 18 on this sheet, unless you want extra practice.
I'm
doing 9 and 11.
So we're not doing 10.
Not doing 10 because I wanted to do one with square root.
So we're not doing 10, 12, 15, 14, 15,
Yes.
16, 17, 18.
I could, no, 9 and 11. Okay, so I'm solving, I have p of x is this, and I'm trying to solve for p when x equals 4. So I have to plug 4 in for all my x values here. So this becomes p of 4 equals 4 plus 1 over 2, 4 squared plus 4 times 4 minus 13. I suggest plugging 4 in everywhere, or whatever your x value is that you're subbing in parentheses, always. So that's isolated from everything else, because when you start getting into negative numbers and exponents, it can get tricky, especially if you're using a calculator. If you enter this into a calculator, you get that, and that's not the right answer.
It's 1.
It's positive 1.
Wait, really? If you enter that into a...
If you enter this into a calculator, because there are no parentheses around it, it's taking it as this. Because it's only applying the exponent to the 1, not the negative sign.
I think you just get 5 over 3.
So
No,
for
when I
this,
typed into my calculator, it says 1.
sorry, 5 over 32
Minus 3.
plus 16 minus 13. So 4 times 4 is, so I have 4 squared is 16 times 2 is 32.
Oh, plus
4 times 4 plus 4 times 4 is 16 minus 13. So this becomes 5 over 35, which I can simplify as 1 over
7.
7.
Are we gonna...
So what would be my x coordinate for this?
4.
4. What would be my y coordinate?
1
over 7.
Nice. So when x equals 4, y equals 1 over 7.
Wow.
Wow.
Definitely a 2 already.
Wow.
Wow.
Miss Young, you're so cool.
So,
Well, like, I still respect your authority, but, like, you're cool. That's, like, the perfect mix.
thank you.
You know what, Sol?
Wow.
I agree with you.
Right?
Yeah, you're really cool, but I still respect you as a
If you were gonna
teacher.
yell at me, I'd still feel really
I'd
bad.
still like, yeah.
But, like, I was
I
feeling
shake
so
off,
awesome.
but, like,
If you struck, yell at me, I'd be like,
No.
yeah, same.
Yeah.
Okay, we're on video.
Oh, I love your struggling though. She talked about you. She's like, oh, I love Miss Young. How's she doing? And I was like, oh.
Oh, our lunch must have had such an impact. I only had 30 minutes with her. We talked about running though, so it
She
was
thought you were gonna be a good
Bonding.
good. Okay, so I have g of x, so this is number 11, not number 10. I have g of x equals the square root of 6 minus 2x. So I'm plugging in negative 15 for x here. There's no other one, just that one. So g of negative, or q I guess, q, negative 15 equals 6 minus 2 times minus 15. This is why I include the parentheses, because this becomes
6
6 plus 30.
Are they just taking random letters for each one?
36 q of negative 15 equals plus or minus 6.
P, Q, H, K, G.
Oh, it's minus, plus minus. Oh boy.
Because negative 6 times negative 6 also equals 36. Yeah.
Oh.
Wait, are they just using random letters?
So-
Not a function? No, wait, it is a function.
No, it's not.
Oh, it's not.
So it would look like this. So we'd have to do it based off of the graph. We'll talk about transformation. So we'll talk about what it means to have a number in front of the x, what it means to have a number being added or subtracted under the square root, and what it means for the movement of that graph.
So is this
Yes.
So from the equation you can't tell if it's a function or not?
From the equation,
Or like from
I know that this is going to be a function based on the graph, but what I'm getting here is not. I could just, if I was going to keep it graphed, and it would look like that
Okay.
somewhere.
I
But I'm just trying to stay consistent with our solving quadratics and
They're just-
using square roots.
They're using random
Generally,
numbers
they
instead.
just say -15 and 6 would be my coordinates.
I love how they're just using random letters each time.
I know.
P, G, A.
Do you guys have any
Okay.
questions about this so far, or are you like not so far into it to like have questions? Or do you have one on here that looks like so scary you want to go over
12.
it?
Or
12.
14.
16.
15.
Four,
Let's just choose one.
14, 14.
20.
14. 14.
I may have just crossed everything out.
Jada looks
12 or 14?
There's a freaking semicolon. Oh, no, never mind.
I need a minute.
That's not hard.
14, 14, please.
14.
Yeah, I like 14.
Let's do 14 together.
Sorry. Oh yeah,
Oh, you have a question?
Okay, so 14 is a good one. So on 14, I have a of x equals the negative cube root of 2x minus 7. And then plus 1 on the outside, and I'm trying to solve for when a of x, or when x equals 17. So I'm plugging 17 in for x.
4 minus 7 is 27, -3.
So then this
Oh,
becomes negative.
2.
Is someone humming the Darth Vader
dude.
soundtrack right now?
2 is 34. 34 minus 7 is
30.
27. The cube root is 3. 3 plus 1.
Why is-
Oh my god, wait.
-2.
Slow down, man.
Whoa, you're going fast.
Oh,
Yep.
is this a negative?
No, he said
Wait,
negative.
negative.
You're right.
Wait, when that?
Does that
Oh,
say
what about the
negative
plus 1?
27?
Yep. No, it says positive 27. Because the negative's on the outside.
Oh yeah, that's what I meant.
So it's not plus or minus there?
Nope, because it's a cube root.
Smart.
Yeah, -3 times -3 is negative.
So here my x value would be 17, my y value would be negative 2.
Okay.
You can just make that a -3. Like, it's a,
No!
Wait, if it was a cube
It's
root of
-3
-27, you
times,
wouldn't pull an I out, right?
-3.
If it's a cube root of negative 27, you would not.
oh, that's
It would be
confusing.
-3 times -3 times -3 gives me negative 27.
So if it was like 36, you would.
So if I have this, that's 6i. But if I have this, that's negative 3.
Yeah.
Because negative 3 times 3 gives me negative 27. But I can't take
The
the
negative. After.
square root of a negative number.
6i.
Bringing it back to I.
I lost when you went from -3 to square root of 27 to -3 plus 1.
From here.
Yeah,
So I have a negative on the outside here.
yeah,
I just brought that down.
yeah.
The cube root of 27 is 3.
Okay.
Plus
Oh,
1.
the cube, 'cause it's perfect cube.
Mhm.
That's it.
Perfect cube. Okay, so then if I look down at the very bottom, that graph is so easy to read. It like doesn't make my eyes hurt at all. So if I look at this graph,
Oh,
this is a different way to start thinking about functions and finding values from a graph. So in 19 I'm trying to find f of 1. So what that's asking me for is what is the y value when x equals 1? So I look in the graph and I look and I scan for where x equals 1 and I go down and I get -9.
Oh.
But you scan where 1 is?
So I looked, the origin's kind of hard to find. But it's labeled, so you can see that this is labeled f of x and that is labeled x. So I look to see where f equals 1, or where x equals 1, which is here. No, x equals 1. So this
Oh,
line,
okay.
and it's there. So
Negative
that's where the
Oh.
y equals.
That.
Yeah. So in number 20, I'm trying to find f of -2. So I'm trying to find the value for y when x equals -2. Oh yeah, we lost Taewoon. He's gone to HPC.
Knew it.
My heart.
I know,
Oh,
I
are you
already did
serious?
this. I already did this to
I
him
knew
and
that
totally
was-
embarrassed
knew
him.
that
I was
was
like,
Get 100.
we'll miss you, and he's like,
I
yeah,
actually
okay,
will.
Miss Young.
Did he get 100 on the test?
I can't tell you guys that.
So is it 0?
Okay.
Was -2 is 0, right?
What's
Yes.
HPC?
Honors pre-calculus.
Oh, he's out of here.
He's out.
No, I heard someone say
Sorry, Andrew.
I want to go.
Your buddy's gone. He was so sarcastic. I couldn't even handle him sometimes with little comments.
Who teaches honors
That's
recalc?
annoying.
Boss.
I heard
Yeah,
it's
but
so
like he
bad.
found us annoying because we kept him away from him.
No, he was tired. He was not annoyed. He was
He was just
tired.
always tired.
He was tired.
I'm always
Okay.
It's 0.
So, guys, what is the y value when x equals -2?
0.
0. So this is what this is asking me. Does this make sense? I'm looking, so if I have f of this equals that. So I'm looking for the x value that's written in here. So I'd go to x equals -2 and I'd use my eyes. And it's crossing the x-axis there, so it would be 0.
Wouldn't it be?
So in 21, I have f of 5. So what is the y value for when x equals 5?
Wouldn't it be?
6.
Or, wait,
What is 0?
it's 5, right?
And then -8.
And then for f of 0, so what is it when x equals 0? It's -8.
Isn't f of 5 5? Or
It's 6.
it is 6?
Yeah, it's 6.
You sure?
Okay.
Yeah.
1, 2.
Does this make sense?
3, 4,
Yes.
I don't
So,
see.
I could also write it like this, and I could be like, solve for x when f of x equals -8, and you'd have to look for the y value equals to -8, and then find the x value from that. Do you think you could do that?
Huh?
Totally.
Where it says f of x right there, is that supposed to be 0?
Yes.
Okay.
What'd you just say?
I just
I
changed.
don't get how.
I changed it because I was saying like there may be some times where the formatting will be looking for x given the y.
My brain is just like 15 seconds behind everything.
You got it.
Yo, what'd you say before that? You think we could do what?
If I gave you this, it like that, would you be able to be like, what is the x value when y equals that? When y equals -8, what would the x value be?
I don't see how you got any of these numbers.
And it was just
So when x is equal to 0, that's it right there.
oh, just the opposite. Then you just look for what.
Oh, that's the
This is x values.
and where
Yes,
is
and then
it?
you
The
just look for
y.
what the
Yes. So what is so when it's written like this, guys, when it's written like this, it's saying what is the y value for this x value. When it's written like this,
Then you just do the opposite.
it's saying what is the x value given this y value.
And then you just look for the opposite.
And then you just can move in between both of those.
Alright.
Okay. Are you guys ready for more? We got 10 minutes. More of notes. I know.
We don't have to use all those, right?
You're not out of paper.
We don't have to use all those 10 minutes.
You're not out of paper because I am a cruel, horrible person.
So we're just doing more.
I am cruel
Oh, is that
and I am horrible.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Do I already have this?
Wow, you're going
Yes.
hard.
I'm going hard.
Jesus.
Hello, guys.
It's not a lot.
Wait, is this for homework? Wait, is this our homework over break? Or?
No.
This is our homework over break? Or?
Oh, yes.
Oh my
All this?
Hold on. So,
Crap.
guys,
I don't know how to do some of this.
odd numbers are your homework on the things that say homework at the top. So homework 1, relations and functions.
Odd numbers.
It's numbers 1 through 21. Do the odd numbers.
Wait, 1 through 20.
1 through 20, the one at the very
Oh.
top, the first page that you're
Yeah.
looking at right there. It says homework 1, relations and functions.
Uh-huh.
Do the odd numbers.
Wait, you told me to do
Yep,
this.
you are fine.
Okay.
You are special because you are going to Austria.
When do I turn this in?
When you get home from Austria.
Really?
Yeah. All the answers will be online,
This
so
is not
just correct your own
homework.
work.
This is not homework.
Oh, that's not homework, just this one.
So this is homework 1.
And there's another
Okay.
one, this one.
Hold on.
You now, beneath that, have a new note set called X and Y intercepts, zeros, finding zeros algebraically, critical points, and extrema.
Oh, that's-
Yay.
Sam already talked about extrema.
Are we doing, wait, so we're doing this, and this by the end of break?
No,
You're only doing
we are
two.
doing this now. XY, XY, critical points.
This is a 3-day weekend, not a 3.
Okay, ready? Wait, ready? I got the packet.
There's like 8 pages.
Homework 1, odd numbers. It's titled Homework 1, Relations and Functions, odd numbers. Do at the end of break. You guys can even do it tonight if you wanted. That would be smart. This XY intercepts, zeros. We're doing that right now.
Okay.
Critical points, extrema.
Yeah.
We're doing that now.
Okay.
How much time do you think we have?
Homework 2.
No, we're
Homework 2 is labeled intercept, zeros,
Oh,
extrema.
okay. Yep, got it.
Odd numbers.
If it says homework at the top, then.
Odd numbers for homework 2.
Do next year.
break?
Over break.
Odds
So
for
all
both.
you have for homework over break
It's
is
odds.
homework 1 and homework 2.
And
On
the
odds.
notes that we won't get done.
Wait, but they're
We
doing.
will. We have 10 minutes. We're going to do it.
And odds on.
We're going to crush.
And odds on
People
both.
can do it in YouTube videos. We got this.
And odds on both homework 1.
Now?
I can't do it.
X and Y intercepts.
Do I have that?
You have everything.
And you said odds on both homework.
Yes.
Okay, let's start.
Okay, let's begin.
I don't see it.
Wait. We only got 10 minutes.
Yeah, I know. Okay. So a little bit of throwback. We got X and Y. We're looking at this. X, Y intercepts. A little bit of throwback. Intercepts are points where a graph intersects the X or Y axis.
That's misleading though, because there's an E at the end of X. This font is X. The sound X.
Intercepts are points where the graph intersects the x.
So intercepts are points where a graph intersects the X or Y axis. This is my f of X or my Y axis. This is my X axis. So these are points that are intersecting. X-intercepts occur, so X-intercepts occur when Y equals 0. Y-intercepts occur when X equals 0. So we can see this here. X equals 0 here, but I have a Y value. Y equals 0 here, and I have an X value. So this is my X-axis, but this is where Y equals 0.
Where graph intersects the X or Y. Y intersect.
So a function has at least one Y-intercept and can have 0 or more X-intercepts. So what that means is that if I have a graph like this, let's say, so it has at most one, sorry, I lied. It has at most one Y-intercept, so it can have 0. But this has no intercepts. So a function follows those basic graphing rules where I can have at most one Y-intercept or 0 or more X-intercepts. So I won't ever have more than one Y.
So 1 for x-intercepts would just be positive 4?
The X-intercept would be 4, 0.
Okay.
Because Y equals 0 there. My Y-intercept would be 0, 2.
4, 0.
So on number 1, my X-intercept is 4, 0, and my Y-intercept is 0, 2.
Oh wait, I see it now.
So it's crossing the X.
Wait, what?
X is 4 when Y is 0,
Oh yeah.
and when X is 0, Y is 2.
So this is
For number
question
one.
number 1, right?
Yeah.
So what if there's multiple? You just keep.
You just write out, you'll write out like for number 2.
And if
My answers for x-intercepts would be -2, 0, comma, 1,
Negative 1,
0,
right?
2, 0, and 3, 0.
That's
Those are all
negative one.
x-intercepts?
So these are all x-intercepts. This is where it's crossing. This is where it's crossing the x-axis when y equals 0. So this is where it's crossing x where y equals 0.
So I think it's negative 1.
It's positive 1.
No, like for the x, there's a negative 1 on the left side.
For y?
No, for x, first one.
You want this to be -1 instead of -2?
But that's how it show on the
Alright.
graph, right?
It's hard to see. And then I will only have one y-intercept, and it's at 0, 6.
Oh, he's right. That's totally a -1.
Yeah, it is.
what if there's no x or y intercept?
Then you write none.
That's what I thought.
0,
And
6.
you write none.
Which one
So
are
like
you
for
looking
number
at?
6, there's no place where it intercepts the x, and nowhere it intercepts the y, so there's none and none.
But it's
At 4,
coming
there's
really
no
Why
x.
is there
right?
Coming really close, but it's never crossing.
At 4, there's also no x intercept.
At 4, there's no x-intercept, but there is a y.
So you just write
intercept.
none.
You write none.
Which one?
None there and none.
So when I'm talking about the zeros of a function, you guys already did this in the last unit. When I'm talking about the zeros of the function, I'm talking about the points at which it intersects the x-axis. So I'm looking for all these answers for when y equals 0. So when you guys were solving for your quadratic equations, you were finding the zeros of the equation. You were finding the solutions of where that parabola was crossing the x-axis. You were already finding that. Look at you guys, trailblazers. So the definition for 0 is the point. The point, sometimes points, at which the function, I write function as FCT, intersects
This is for writing the zeros.
x-axis. This is for zeros.
Why is there 2 rows?
So when y equals 0.
The function.
So to find zeros,
The function.
you set f of x equal to 0. So this is for, what is x when y equals 0? That's what this is telling me. What is x? What is the x value for when y equals 0? So then you solve for x. So to do the opposite, so to find the y-intercept, you set x equal to 0. You find f of 0.
And that equals y.
So this is the y-intercept.
Wait, you put a 0 in that?
So remember in our function notation, whatever number we have here is representing the x value that I'm plugging into the problem. So when I say f of 0, what I'm saying is, what is the value of the function for when x is equal to 0?
I get that. I understand.
And that whole, like, f, when, that equals 0. I mean y.
This equals the y-intercept.
Okay. But you can't write equals y after the f of 0, right?
You could write equals,
I'm sorry.
And either, oh,
so you're solving for that.
I'm sorry again.
It's okay.
Oh, no.
Old school.
I'm sorry.
What? I'll give you a
So you guys can go through a few of these examples on your own if you want to. I posted the answers online already, but they will also be on those homeworks that I handed out to you. So if you wanted to go through a couple of extra problems to find zeros on your own individually, you can note numbers 7 through 12.
Yeah.
Those are all posted online if you wanted to check those out, but they will also be on the homework that I handed out to you. That's listed homework too.
So basically, we need to finish all of the pages, right?
Finish. So
No,
what
we
you
need
need
to
to
go over
finish
this.
is you need to finish homework 1 and homework 2.
Okay.
These two are just, we're gonna keep continuing those.
Well, we're gonna try. I wanted to try.
It's 2 minutes late.
Wanted to try. There's 2 minutes left. So for critical points, extrema, and increasing and decreasing behavior, it's all just vocab. So what I actually want you guys to do for this, so I thought it was a lot more problems than this. What I actually want you to do for this one is look on the answers online, and it's like just fill in the guided notes
Oh, you
from
already
what
filled
I've
them in.
posted.
Oh, so we just look at it and just.
Yeah, so because it's all vocab, pretty much. Critical points are points where the graph changes direction or shape. Extreme are points where the graph changes direction. So like it's filling in those and understanding also these little bubbles that are next to it.